Hey, welcome everybody. It is Dem Boys Watch Footy coming to you with a nice episode where we're going to give everybody their flowers for Black History Month. Dem Boys Watch Footy, when we first started, it's really important to me, especially having the angle of Black American men being able to talk about an international sport.
Ah,
We have the U.S. men's national team and Black History Month, talking about all of the great Black players that have come through the U.S. men's national team. A lot of fun topics to discuss today. PJ, starting with the U.S. men's national team, like what are some very strong Black moments that you've had watching the team as long as you have?
well, I think right now, the players that are currently in form, you've got um, Tim Weah, Weston McKinney. Weston McKinney is in incredible form. Like we just talked about, like before the podcast, Tyler Adams over there as a captain. Halligan is, I think, locked in as our starting striker. So a lot of these players are in great form and looking to make a significant contribution in the Mundial, which is coming up in like 5
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm more talking about like the DeMarcus Beasleys, the Kobe Jones. I mean, even Tim Howard right now, he was still really big when we were young. Yeah, just like seeing some of the amazing Black players that have come through the U.S. men's national team that gave us a chance to really believe, like, yo, we can be a part of this too. Even though we know most of the time you have a lot of different players coming from all across the United States, but it's mainly been white players that have kind of defined the
Yep.
teams. Howard was the goalie that kept us in through all the matches, but big names, whenever you hear the goals being scored, it was always Landon Donovan or Clint Dempsey. Those are our top two joint highest scorers. But you got to give some love for your boy, Josie Altidore. So those are the players I was going with.
Yeah.
So I really want to
More
get
of the classic players.
yeah, I wanted to give the love and spotlight to them just because they sometimes get faded throughout history, but they're some of the people that gave us a lot of reason to hope and really dream that, hey, okay, we can possibly go if we play football. I didn't play football growing up. I watched it as soon as I turned around 17 and I was like, I wonder why I never played football and I swam, you know? Yeah,
Same here. I
but
got into it from being abroad, so
true, true. But like Kobe Jones, I got to give that man some props. He was one of the few people with his hairstyle back in the 90s. He was a big pop icon. He used to play for Coventry City. And then he also played in a spot that I'm really going to love very soon is Vasco da Gama over in Brazil, in the Brazilian League.
Mhm.
So, but he was also one of the first American players to play over in the Premier League. He really paved the way there. So gotta give a lot of love to Kobe Jones. I will never forget seeing like his sideshow Bob esque dreads where he would just run through different teams, and you're just like, yo, that dude's got swag just being able to
Yep.
play on the field, and he had like the most infectious smile. So gotta give a lot of props for him. BJ, what about you? What are some players that like gave you that like, okay, let's
Yeah.
see.
Think early on, like a lot of the ones that you mentioned, I love DeMarcus Beasley. He was able to extend his career with U.S. team playing different positions.
Yeah,
Like you said, obviously, Tim Howard was at probably the best goalkeeping performance of all time. But yeah, I mean, these
you
people
met
were.
Tim Howard, right?
I've ran into Tim Howard twice. I watch his podcast. I don't think he's watching ours. I first saw him. I live in New York City. I first saw him at a nightclub near me, and then I saw him in the West Village. And I was like so nervous, and my friend had to ask me to take a picture with him. Very nice, very nice guy. But soccer in this country has kind of had this stereotype, unlike other sports, of like, oh, it's like kind of like this like suburban sport and like soccer moms. So, seeing more of the kind of diversity in the team is uh is great because we see that within other sports, and now we're really seeing it in soccer because I think 30, 40 years ago we weren't really, it was basically like white players and then like kind of dual nationals that we had, people that were born in other countries that might have been nationalized, like Balboa and people like that. So seeing
Yeah.
the diversity on the team is great.
Yeah. One of the crazy things that I started to learn about through soccer, through football, is the Air Force baby that then could grow up to be a part of the U.S. men's national team. We have a plethora of U.S. men's national team
Uh,
players that came that way. You know, you have Jermaine Jones. You have, I mean, DeMarcus Beasley was one of them as well. You have Ernie Stewart. You have yeah, you just have
Fabian Johnson,
yeah,
Chandler. I mean, it's a very interesting phenomenon in a way.
yeah. It's definitely something like my dad was in the military, and even though he was able to establish a family here, it was still interesting to see like all these families grow up over there and get like a whole different type of lifestyle. They
Yeah,
grow up getting to play within all of the different types of European households, but then come to the US and get ridiculed or praised. And they're just like, wait, this is completely different energy than I've ever had to deal with in my life, you know?
yeah.
But they were able to
Um,
do it.
Yeah, I mean, what's I guess what's impressive is that and I guess this is really specific to like US German relations, but we've had so many of these dual nationals playing for the US men's national team that were mostly German American. And the Bundesliga was the league for US players to go and still is in a
Yeah,
certain extent. But expanding on that, it is nice to see now, that we are getting people from different countries as well. Some English players now. Weah was born here, but his dad was the president of Liberia and a great footballer. So we're seeing a little more diversity. But it is a really interesting phenomenon. I wonder maybe our listeners would know if there's any other countries that have interesting dual national situations. Maybe not exactly like that, but something that
yeah.
might be not something you would immediately think.
Very true. I would love if any of our listeners could let us know about that because it's always something that I've been quite curious about just seeing like okay, everybody just has a different way. I mean, you see even with other nationalities that are also a part of it like Ricardo Pepe, like you have an entire Mexican influence that is a part of the US men's
Uh-huh.
national team. So,
Yep.
just being able to see how large our country is, being able to blend all of these different cultures, like you have other countries due to other reasons, colonial reasons,
Yep.
also having a very big influx of black players. But you having players that want to actively come back to play with dual citizenship, and they're just like, "Oh, I can definitely play for the U.S. men's national team." That's still a
Yeah.
very cool experience to have. But also want to give a quick highlight to the other side of being a black player within the United States, which a lot of people don't usually know is using your platform to be able to talk about different types of things that are happening within your country. Uh, a lot of players within different sports, LeBron James, you had, well, Michael Jordan never did it within his sport, but you have a lot of
Kaepernick
different,
was probably the most
most
controversial example, we'll call it.
yeah, it's not really a controversy because what you're seeing
Yeah.
now, especially within this second round, is a lot of what he said is now coming to fruition. It's not just for people that look like me; it's for everybody that it's happening to now. You know.
Yeah,
But,
100%.
want to bring that up because with one of our black players that is playing under this U.S. men's national team now, Timothy Weah, as you talked about earlier, he's going into a very interesting row with his coach Mauricio Pochettino. Now, Pochettino, he's a coach. He's an Argentinian coach. He's coached within the Premier League, so he has a completely different way of looking at footballers and sport.
Yeah.
Within the business of it. And Timothy Weah, he was talking about like the World Cup is a little bit too expensive right now for the average fan to be able to watch a match. Do you feel as though that would be something that's a political statement? I know.
Yeah, when you said, like, on the agenda that we're gonna talk about politics, I thought it'd be, like, something a little more controversial than ticket prices.
Yeah,
I don't think that, like, what he was saying actually, I'm pretty confident what he's saying is not really anything that should be seen as controversial. It's pretty universally true and accepted that the prices are exorbitant. But you actually brought up a really good point that I didn't think about. Pochettino has always been a club coach
yeah,
where maybe international politics, geopolitics are a little less relevant, with a national team, these things might tie in a little bit more.
true.
So his job in his mind is to, I don't like love him or hate him for it, but he wants to win the World Cup. He's not trying to be, a savior or Mother Teresa. But I
Yeah,
appreciate Weah for speaking out because even though I don't think it's like, I think it's maybe 3 out of 10 on the controversial scale.
yeah.
It's risky. You don't really get anything out of it. You just, other than being a good human being. And also, I want to go to the World Cup. So good for him.
Yeah, I mean, Weah's trying to stand up for people that can't really speak on it. Big fan of Timothy Weah. He's a friend of the show. He's actually one of the big reasons as to one of the reasons as to why I started. He came in to speak at one of at my old job and was able to connect with him and then his business people and had a really good conversation from there about football. Haven't been able to have him on the show, but still a really big fan.
One day.
And yeah, one day. But something that he said was, I felt as though it was very simple. He's just disappointed about the ticket prices. Lots of fans will miss matches. It's too expensive. Football should be enjoyed by everyone. Now, what Pochettino said kind of flipped the script and it rubbed me the wrong way, just as because we know what's going on within this country and we know that it's always been either a racial or class issue, people not having access specifically within football. And so this is an access issue that I felt. And what Pochettino said just rubbed me the wrong way. And that's why I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
Now, Pochettino said, I think players need to talk on the pitch, playing football, not outside. It's not his duty to evaluate the price of the ticket. We are not politicians. We are sport people that only we can talk about our job. Now, in a vacuum, to me, it sounds like a shut up and dribble type of moment. I know he does not mean it that way, but with all that's happened within the United States, it is just the weirdest place to kind of stamp out like where your allegiances lie within the difference between sport and being an entertainer, a part of an entire community. And that's where I needed to make sure that we broach this subject on this pod.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, at the end of the day, there's going to be people who are in the spotlight, whether it's sport and other things, who are going to speak out and going to talk about things that are outside of sport. And there's going to be people that don't want to be involved. And that's just how it is. Would prefer if Pochettino didn't say that. I don't
Yeah.
hate him for that because I get where he's coming from. Because in his mind, his only job is to get the U.S. to do well in the World Cup. But, what Way is saying, putting it all together is pretty freaking obvious. I got the email yesterday from FIFA E that I was denied tickets.
I
Like
just
me,
got that email. Hey,
oh, you didn't get it either?
yeah.
Okay, so you get it. So my point is that if we living in New York, like, can't afford the tickets, like, what if someone wants to fly, from South Africa and they got to spend all the money to come here, then they got to spend $3,000 on a ticket. It's horrible, but at the end of the day, we know that FIFA is corrupt, and that's what it is. They don't care about the average fan experience. They care about making money.
Yeah, we're seeing it specifically with this World Cup. We saw what the final prices were over in Qatar and how expensive those tickets were. It was only the most expensive like ticket that wasn't like a box ticket was around 300 a person. And now, if you look at the tickets that are happening within New York, New Jersey, and MetLife Stadium, those tickets are over exorbitant. And if I can't even go to Mexico, which is still the plan, FIFA as corrupt as you can be, I'm still looking to go. But I need to get some tickets in Mexico because these are ridiculous. I shouldn't be paying American prices for a sport that like it's a good chance most people won't go to see the match. Sticking on theme with the NFL before talking about Colin Kaepernick, like the Super Bowl this past weekend just popped off to tickets got up to around 16,000 a person. You had some people paying 8,000 a ticket. You had some people paying for box tickets around 100K. Understand that is a lot and it's a lot of money. And being within the West gives you that opportunity to make as much as possible. Why? Why? We all want to enjoy. It's not going to look good on TV when none of the locals can go to these matches. The best part of the World Cup are other people experiencing different cultures and being able
Yes.
to enjoy together. So, when Pochettino first said that, like, why are you saying shut up and dribble? There's no reason for us to have to deal with this right now in 2026. But then,
Uh-huh.
secondly, you have to think of the broader issue. Why are you trying to gatekeep and not give access to the other fans? You're essentially just closing off a whole fun part of the world. Like, the whole reason the World Cup is the World Cup is because you get a chance to experience a different culture's energy
Yep.
within the time that you're in another country. Like,
Yeah. 100%.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. And at the end of the day, these entities, the NFL, FIFA, they care about one thing and one thing only. They care about money. Like,
Yeah.
for example, the NFL, Bad Bunny was on the halftime show because not because the NFL is conservative or liberal. They thought it was the best financial decision for them for a potential small amount of the American market. They'd alienate, they'd gain all these fans in other countries. It's about money. It's all about money.
Yeah.
So FIFA is doing a basic supply and demand and say, hey, we're going to maximize our profit by charging a crap ton of money and they think the demand is there, but it sucks because I want to go. I'm sure the fans watching this want to go, and I don't want to have to, refinance my house to make it happen.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's
What is
insane.
I mean, I don't think there is a solution, but like, what is, how does this like all play out? Is it just going to be people that are really rich or have like, their job get tickets, or are people just going to be blowing their life savings? Like, how does this go for 2026 and going forward?
Well,
You know,
that's the thing. We know that the World Cup in 2030 will be taking place in Europe. We just found that out. It'll be within Spain. Actually, let me make sure.
there's a few that's all over, right? There's a few opening games in South America, I believe. And then
No, yeah, it'll be the opening matches in Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay just to celebrate the 100 years of the competition. But the tournament will be hosted by Morocco, Portugal, and Spain. So it's a very interesting way to go from one side to the other side of the like one continent to another within the entire same tournament. That would be pretty cool to see.
I want to ask people watching, if you're planning on going, like, how are you making it work? Did you get lucky and like get in the draw, or are you just saving up big? Because I went in Brazil in 2014. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And the tickets are only it's like 150 for like the second tier. The one thing that might be possible, I don't know, is that you might be able to go and get tickets just like randomly show up because when I went to see Brazil, USA and Germany in 2014, they were scalping tickets for about the price that I bought them. So that might be a possibility, but I don't know what other angles.
Well, the hard part is because it's the new system that they have, as well as ticket resellers and bots are kind of taking up a lot of space. A lot of ticket resellers are just buying these and then just price gouging people out of the market. And they're going to hold on to those tickets until they see their actual money come out. We'll see how FIFA is going to rectify the situation because right now, the world is not going through a very great financial time. So we'll see how many people are actually going to be able to make it. I've been very blessed where I can actively afford to say I would like to be in Mexico for an entire week just to watch football. I will definitely be trying to make that happen. So not everybody has that opportunity. That's my best chance to be able to watch a match. Even though I'm in New York, I see those prices. I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's just not possible for me.
It's horrible. I mean, it's like we're obviously disappointed personally because we want to go, but then I think about like you were saying, when I was in Brazil, like hanging out with people from France and Senegal, and like, is it just going to be people from rich countries that are going to be able to afford these tickets? That's going to lower the quality of the overall atmosphere. So it's I don't think what Way is saying was really. I think he's 100% on, and it's pretty disappointing, but not surprising, unfortunately.
Not surprising at all. It's kind of crazy. So, but want to end us on a high note. Some really amazing news. Weston McKinney, he has now been officially crowned the captain for Juventus full time. He's in the past, he used to captain on and off via Thiago Motta. He was the old coach and he would go back and forth and there was a chance that he was getting sold. He went to go to Leeds United, and then finally, they were like, "Wow, this kid has been actually just putting in a lot of work for us. A lot of these teammates really respect him, and now he's the full time captain." It's one of the very first times in America. It's the very first time an American is captaining the club, but then as well, just seeing a Black American captaining an Italian squad is a very amazing thing to see. It's a big shout and have to shout out Weston on that front.
I have two questions for you. One, is this the biggest club that an American has captained?
That an American
I
has captain?
think so. Off the top of my head, I think so.
Yeah. I would probably have to give you that shout. I'm trying to think about when like yeah, Fulham's
Wow,
not
this
on
is
the
it,
same.
man. This is it. No one's like
Yeah.
Tim
Well, has
Howard.
Pulisic been a captain of Milan yet or no?
I don't think Pulisic has ever been a captain for any teams he's played on other than the US. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
He's more an on-field leader.
yeah, this is the highest honor right now. Yeah.
My second question for you, which I was kind of wondering your opinion on, was that every year there's like this whole thing with McKinney and that they are like, threatening to cut him and they want to get rid of him. Is that because he's like American, or is it done to like motivate him? Because early in his career, there was like some people are questioning his motivation. There's this whole thing where Juventus doesn't treat him right. What's your opinion on that?
So I just think he's just a misunderstood player. I think he just doesn't follow the trend that most European players do. It kind of reminds me not to the most extreme degree, but he definitely reminds me of a Mario Balotelli type, where you're able to speak your own mind. You
Yeah.
know, he's a Texan. He's a Texas boy. I'm
He's a
very
funny
sure.
he's a
Yeah, exactly. The Texas boy living in Italy for as long as he's lived in Italy. Like, come on
That's
now.
kinda wild. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you take a Texan and you put him in Italy, you're just like, "Yep, this is your life for the next 7 to 10 years."
Yeah. Maybe that's it, but he's like you're saying, he's finally getting his roses.
Yeah, like, I feel as though the fact that he's able to express himself fully now, he's had some really dark times over at Juventus, but he's been shining through. He's been a very strong constant. He's gotten them through some very weird years, the years where they didn't have enough money after they moved into the new stadium. They were just like, "Oh, what are we going to do?" He was able to help keep them up. He got them. He was a part of a title-winning squad. He's been everywhere with them, and
Yeah.
I think getting those flowers now is a combination of all of the great work that he's done for us. You know.
It's a big accomplishment for him and a big accomplishment for US men's national team players.
For sure. Yeah, seeing more leaders, him, Tyler Adams. It's really good to have leaders of men on the squad and having multiple leaders of men. It can never hurt, you know? Nobody's going to doubt what they say because they obviously are part of the contingent that helps the team when things are going dire. You have to listen to them. And knowing that, hey, these men are doing this on their club level is an amazing thing in itself.
Percent, yeah. I'm excited to see how he performs at the World Cup because he's in great form.
For sure. But want to thank everybody for giving us a listen to this episode. It is your boy PJ. It's your boy E. Hope you all have a great Black History Month. Keep listening. We're going to give you a lot more fun listens throughout the year before the World Cup and then a little bit after. So thank you all again. Peace.